To be the best, you need to compete with the best. In Cedar Falls, Iowa, the best wrestling teams from across the country are here seeking the crown of team champion. It's the finals of the 2008 National Team Duels, next on College Wrestling. It's College Wrestling from the Unidome on the Northern Iowa campus in Cedar Falls, Iowa. College Sports Television presents the 2008 NWCA Cliff King National Team Duels. Today's Division I final featuring Iowa and Nebraska. Hello everyone, I'm Tim Johnson and welcome to College Wrestling's National Duel Championships, and I'm pleased to welcome my broadcast partner, former national champion wrestler and coach Jim Gibbons, and this is a big one in the sport of wrestling.
Well, up to this point in the season, Tim, this is the biggest event we have in college wrestling here, the National Dual Meet Team Tournament, and I tell you what, in well represented here, we got 9 teams in the top 10 out there fighting for a championship.
Well, number 2 seed Iowa versus the unseeded Nebraska Cornhuskers for the finals. That should be good. Let's talk about Nebraska, their head coach, Mark Manning.
Well, Mark Manning in his 8th year has got to be very excited the way his team has been performing here. An upset win over Penn State, who is ranked number 1, and Minnesota in the semifinals. Finds himself here with some great ranked wrestlers here, a well-balanced team, a young team, Tim, that can compete for a title today.
Well, how about Iowa, led by Tom Brands?
Tom Brands in his 2nd year, he's got to be really happy with the way his guys are wrestlers. His teams have been wrestling with the type of fire and style that he's been accustomed to seeing here by watching himself wrestle.
Lots of ranked wrestlers as well.
So you look at that balance, good balanced lineup here, but a lot of wrestlers wrestling up to their ability.
3 upsets in a row for Nebraska, unseeded. What do they need to do to win a championship?
They need help from their national champion. He needs to beat Charlie Falk at 25. 25 is a big match. Win a toss-up at 57 and finish strong 74 through heavyweight.
The last time Iowa won this tournament was in 1996, and they beat the Cornhuskers. What does Iowa need to do to win?
I think for Iowa, it's pretty much they have the match to give here in this one, but the bottom line is if they wrestle the way they've been wrestling, it'll be a championship that has eluded them for quite a while in this program.
It's College Wrestling next on College Sports Television.
The passage is intense, but if you complete the journey, you will find your destiny among the world's greatest warriors. The few, the proud, the Marines.
This hurts more than shopping for auto insurance.
Suck it up, champ. Esurance takes the pain out of it.
What? I need collision coverage now.
With some of the fastest quotes on the web, Esurance makes it easy to save on auto insurance.
That's why thousands of drivers switch to Esurance every week.
Esurance has got you covered in every season.
Quote by
Touchdown! If you're on the go, you gotta have Esurance.
Get your fast, free auto insurance quote. Visit Esurance.com today.
I wanted to help. I just didn't know where to begin.
I wanted to do something, but what did I have to offer?
I can only help at certain times.
Volunteer? Nah, not me. I wanted to include my family.
I found it on the internet.
It's cool. Now we can volunteer together.
I do have something to give.
It's time to get your tickets for the 2008 Conference USA Basketball Championship, March 12th through the 15th at FedEx Forum in Memphis.
Hi, I'm John Calipari, head coach of the University of Memphis. Come and enjoy Beale Street, barbecue, and great college basketball.
Get your tickets today. Call 888-867-U-of-M. That's 888-867-U-of-M.
Well, let's take a look at the matchups of this duel.
Starting right up there at 125 pounds. Big match here with Paul Donahue and Charlie Falk, 2 All-Americans. Ken Jordan and Joe Slayton, the number 2 ranked wrestler. Mike Rowe and Dan LeClaire, another good matchup there. Jordan Burroughs, the 6th ranked wrestler, versus Brent Metcalf, who's been storming through the competition. Chris Oliver and Ryan Morningstar, a toss-up match at 57. Back half, Dwyer and Perry. Browns and Borchell, another important match. Vince Jones, an upset winner at 84 against Roger Kiss, going up against Phil Keddy. Craig Brewster and Chad Beatty. And John May at heavyweight versus Matt Fields.
Well, we're ready for the National Dual Championship Finals. We're starting at 125. Last year, these 2 teams met in the National Duels, but not for the championships. These 2 wrestlers met. The NCAA champion from last year, Paul Donahoe from Nebraska in the red singlet, and then Charlie Falk from Iowa, who was an All-American, finished 8th. But in this particular meet last year, Charlie Falk won 9-7. So their previous meeting went to Falk, the Iowa Hawkeye, black singlet, but Donahoe, he won it all at the NCAA championships, winning it at 125 pounds as a sophomore. He's a junior, Falk's a junior, and this is real important for Nebraska, Jim.
Well, it's real important for Nebraska. They have to win this match, and they're expecting a lot out of their national champion. He was beaten in semifinals in this by Jason Ness from Minnesota. Great match, great scramble match. It started a lot like this match did. Kind of off, a little bit slow here. Both guys kind of ear to ear, working collar ties and wrists, but that match certainly heated up later on. And but Ness got a takedown late in the match, and actually in overtime, ended up winning it.
Donahoe from Davison, Michigan. Iowa's got a wrestler from the same high school as Donahoe, Brett Metcalf. We'll be talking about him. Donahoe, a junior, as I said. Charlie Falk, a junior from Strawberry Point, Iowa, but he left the state to wrestle as a prep at Apple Valley, Minnesota. And he was a 4-time state champion in Minnesota. Davison in high school, well, he was awful good at Davison.
You mentioned last time these 2 wrestlers wrestled, I think it was 11-7 win. Falk beat Donahoe, a pretty big score. This is a situation where Charlie Falk here, the wrestler that didn't quite have the national tournament, of course, the champion did, Donahoe is, but his memory is he knows he can go with this guy. He's got to go out there and kind of create the offense, and Donahoe, we'll see how this can test his confidence. He's coming off of a loss just a few hours ago, and
Donahoe knows a lot about success. Not only a 2-time state champion, but he was a 2-time national junior champion freestyle. He's already won the NCAAs as a sophomore, so he knows how to get it done at the right time of the year.
Yes, he does. He had a great tournament last year and finished strong. And again, both wrestlers blocking off pretty well. Tops of the heads are on their shoulders. Not much offense can be generated from these positions, and it's going to be one of those situations where you do have the tie that you can hit your offensive. You have to go. You have to not give it a...
There's Tom Brands, Olympic champion, world champion, 3-time NCAA champion for the Hawks under the coach Dan Gable. Now in his 2nd year as the head coach for Iowa. And as you've said, Jim, he has them wrestling his team the way he wants them to.
Yeah, he does. They're wrestling real strong, their style, working strong off the elbows, and once they get in the legs, they're usually driving through the man, and you can probably see that a little bit later on in this meet, but it's really impressive at this point in the season.
The time ticking down to the end of the first period, and the score is 0-0 in this first match at 125 pounds at the end of the first period. Charlie Falk from Iowa got the opportunity to decide what he wanted to do. He deferred to Donahoe. Donahoe chose down.
Good first move by Donahoe. He's coming up strong, fighting off that collar tie, doing a lot of hand fighting out there now. He worked to try to get his hips out, but Falk doing a nice job of popping his hips in and getting a good lift going. But a good wrestler here, a champion wrestler, will just be right back at you. Now he's doing a lot of hand fighting, dive down to the ankle.
How long can Charlie Falk stay down there before he's called for stalling?
Well, he did a good job of coming up to the knee, then to the hip. Now he's hand fighting again, and this is 3 really decent attempts to get out by Donahoe in the first 30 seconds, and Falk doing a nice job of following. And
Donahoe does escape. He gets 1 point. That's the first point in the match. There's Mark Manning, the head coach at Nebraska.
That's just being persistent.
(1-0) Donahoe, in the strength of an escape here in the second period, out in front of Charlie Falk from Iowa. In the first match, the National Dual Finals, Unidome in Cedar Falls.
First decent shot here by anybody in this match. Falk in on a single leg. Donahoe reaching back for his leg band there, and applying a whizzer, but he's driving through, and that's what you have to do. That's close, and that is 2 points there. That's a big takedown here for Charlie Falk.
2-1 in favor of Falk.
And he's got the cross wrist underneath there, Tim. It's going to be even more difficult for Donahoe to get out from underneath. So, again, piling it on, good wrist ride. You want to stay in the top position. Only 25 seconds left in this period. 2-1 score. Falk can end up in the top position here. That's pretty big.
And he's also got riding time right now. A little over a minute. If this would be a big escape for Donahoe if he can get it. He does.
That's pretty big. That gives Donahoe some breathing room here, so you don't have to come up with a takedown maybe even 2 takedowns to get back in this match. But
2-2 at the end of the second period of this 125-pound match between Charlie Falk and Paul Donahoe.
And here's the Donahoe situation here where he's got the giving up the leg, but Charlie Falk just continues to drive through. It didn't really didn't look like Donahoe fought that as aggressively as you'd like to see, but Falk doing a nice job just driving through and coming across and getting the points.
It's 2-2. Paul Donahoe from Nebraska and Charlie Falk from Iowa in the beginning of the third period of this first match at 125 pounds in the National Dual Finals.
Riding time's been erased now. It's down to 50 seconds there for Falk. Falk working to try to come up and get the escape.
Something Donahoe has got a couple of. Donahoe scored first in the second period with an escape. Then Charlie Falk got a takedown. Donahoe escaped and the score 2-2.
Donahoe's kind of in a decision box right now. Okay, it's 2-2. I've cut the riding time, but if I ride him all the way out, I can't really get a riding time point of my own. So there's 50-some seconds of riding time right now, actually 49, and 135 on the clock. So if he rides them all the way out, he's riding them out to take him into overtime. So understand the strategy.
So do you begin overtime now or later, in a way, in a sense, for Donahoe? I mean, because he lets him go, he wins with a takedown, and that's what it usually takes in overtime.
And normally when you let him up, you'd like to have more than a minute to work with here, so this is the decision box, okay? Oh, Falk's got an opportunity for a reversal here, and that'd be huge. Get the riding time going back the other direction. He's really forcing Donahoe to wrestle hard.
Donahoe does a nice job of scrambling, keeping it, but now what's he do? Does he let him go?
Well, if there's a minute left, he's going to go either way. But Falk's got to do what he's doing right there.
And he's got his minute, so to speak. I mean, more or less, and he's in on a shot, but nice job of sprawling there by Falk, and who is ahead now, 3-2, no riding time involved.
Falk has an opportunity here to continue to wrestle with the lead here. If he gets on a shot on his own, go back and do the same shot he went after before. Now this is wrestling with the lead. You don't want to give the champion the chance to go to his go-to shot.
3-2. Charlie Falk walks back to the center. Donahoe has a little shot there. He's behind. Nebraska's NCAA champion, #1 ranked wrestler, trying to avoid his second loss in the same day, having been upset by Jason Ness in the semifinals.
Well, this is huge for the Hawkeyes here as far as establishing.
Warning, stalling against Falk from Iowa. 15 seconds left in the match.
Mark Manning cheering his champion on. Now is a power position. Not much time to be able to score. Falk's tying up that arm.
And he has to be able to hook a leg that's not there to be hooked. And the time is going to tick away, and that's the end. Charlie Falk wins for the second time in the duels last year, now this year, against Paul Donahoe. Donahoe says, you know, well, I'm going to have to get him next time if we meet in the NCAAs, but right now, this is the one that counts, and Charlie Falk for Iowa just wins, puts them up 3-0.
They've stormed beaches and freed countries. They've raised our flag and our hope. They've been called leathernecks. They've been called devil dogs. But above all, they're called Marines.
College basketball is in high gear. The beat goes on. NCAA women's basketball. Possession CSTV.
Iowa ahead, 3-0 over Nebraska, and now at 133 pounds. We have Joe Slayton for Iowa, Kenny Jordan for Nebraska.
Well, you mentioned keys to winning this match, and that was a gotta-have match there for Nebraska. Here's Joe Slayton in on another shot. We've seen him be extremely offensive throughout the last 3 matches now.
Many of the Iowa Hawkeyes have been very, very aggressive over the last month, Jim.
Yeah, they really have. I mean, they're setting a record amount of points in the Midlands tournament, and you know, they just had one little blemish there with the Oklahoma State match, and that can happen. And coming back off a holiday, but they're back to wrestling the way they were in the month of December.
Kenny Jordan, he won a national junior college championship last year, started in Nebraska in a redshirt year, went away to his community college last year and won a national junior community college championship. Joe Slayton, 2-time state champion from Cedar Rapids Kennedy, who started out at Virginia Tech with 3 of his teammates, and Coach Tom Brands sat out as a freshman and then gave up a year of eligibility as 3 of his teammates. We'll talk more about them. All did just to be able to wrestle for the Hawkeyes. He's ranked number 2 right now in the nation.
Yeah, and I think it's what's important to point out about that 3 out of those 4 were native Iowans and wanted to come back home, and when their coach was going to end up coming back to the state, take on the Hawkeyes job.
Jordan from Frankfort, Illinois. He wrestled for Lincoln Community College and won that championship last year.
Slayton just really does a nice job. Oh, nice low single leg attempt here by Jordan, and he's going to test Slayton's defense. Slayton is normally so offensive. I mean, he gets after it so much that doesn't have many opportunities to defend his leg shots against him because he's early on the offense. But here he finds himself in a tough situation.
Slayton put on a takedown clinic in the semifinals against his Michigan opponent. He's up 2-1 here in the first period. Early takedown, escape by Jordan, and now they're in a scramble situation with a minute left. I'm Tim Johnson along with Jim Gibbons, and we're in the second match of the National Dual Championships, the Unidome, Cedar Falls, Iowa.
Good low shot by Jordan, but it wasn't enough to, he didn't really kind of get after it here, didn't try to finish that technique. He just kind of got lulled to sleep, and now Slayton's back on his offense. And what I like to see about Slayton, he's going to work off that elbow tie. See how he's got the wrist, left wrist. He'll control that wrist and elbow and drive in across and go to the opposite leg. And that worked at will in the Michigan match, and Jordan's a little bit wiser to it.
First meeting for these 2 wrestlers. The teams met for the National Dual Championships in 1996, Iowa winning. This is Iowa's 5th time in the finals and trying to win it for a 4th time, but that's not even close to the Oklahoma State Cowboys, who have won 8 of these National Dual Championships. Nebraska in the finals for the 3rd time, trying to win their first ever National Duals. Last year, these 2 teams met in the duals, but not in the championship.
Boy, just another great job by Slayton. Again, once he gets the tie he wants, he drops and lowers his level and goes right into those legs, hits you below the knees. And
2 more points takedown for Slayton as the first period runs out.
Here it comes to the head, off the elbow, comes now to the single leg side, comes around, always the best option, go to the far leg.
It's 4-1 here in the second period at 133 pounds in favor of Joe Slayton for the Iowa Hawkeyes. He is ahead of Jordan from Nebraska. He had 2 takedowns in the first period. Chose neutral to begin this second period because, as you've talked about, Jim, he's a machine right now in his takedowns.
He really is. When he has the tie he wants and he can hit it so quickly. Basically, the rest of the field hasn't found a way to, even though he's been beat in this tournament, he's beat by Fry from Cornell. I think it was relatively a large score. It's like 9-3, but you give him the tie he wants, he's just really dangerous. I mean, just keeps on coming at you. He can hit you with at your right leg or your left leg. There it is again. Oh, and wow. You can't, you get a guy trying to run away from him, he's going to mow you down every time.
Both wrestlers strategically trying to, Iowa fans calling for fleeing the mat there, but
they've got a point.
Yeah. Tom Brands looks like he's ready to wrestle. He always does. Iowa leads in the national dual finals 3-0. Charlie Falk upsetting, so to speak, the higher ranked last year's NCAA champion Paul Donahoe, but both times they've met, Charlie Falk has beaten Donahoe last year and this year in the national duels. Iowa out in front 3-0. And their second wrestler, Joe Slayton, you're looking at him up 4-1, trying to pile it on here.
Joe Slayton gets a hold of your right elbow. You're going to, he's going to take a shot, and it's going to be a good shot, and he can go to either leg.
Jordan ranked number 6 in the nation, and Slayton ranked number 2.
There it is again. And then, he takes so much territory with that shot, even that he just makes the other guy look bad.
Bad enough to get another stalling call, and this time 1-point penalty, so the score is 5-1 Slayton. Correct.
5-1, yeah, absolutely correct score. Jordan's going to go ahead and take the down position.
Started the third period. Joe Slayton out in front for Iowa, 5-1, 2 takedowns, a stalling penalty, and now Jordan gets the opportunity in this last period to try to get out from underneath Joe Slayton and get something going.
Yeah, he's got his riding time. He looked over to Coach Tom Brands, and Tom Brands wanted to keep him in the down position, wear him down a little bit. Jordan looking for a big move underneath there, it looked like, kind of a sit-out, turn in, kind of hook the elbow and maybe roll Slayton to his back. That's really what he has to do to get in this match, is kind of create a big move, and a good place to do that is in the down position. So I'd look for him not to just be looking for escapes here, but look, if he's competing and still in this match, he's going to try to look for something big that can take Slayton to his back, but so far that's not been anywhere near the case because Slayton's doing a nice job of staying behind his elbows.
Another warning for stalling against Nebraska's Jordan. Another point for Slayton, makes the score 6-1. Slayton just really being aggressive both on his feet and on the mat. Shot there by Jordan. 50 seconds left in the third and final period.
And when Jordan has an opportunity to get on the leg, he just kind of got in there and hung a little bit. And probably brought on mainly because Slayton was clinging on top of him, but now Slayton's got an opportunity. Got to be careful here with that knee. That's a tough situation there.
There's 2 points for Slayton, another takedown. That's his third takedown, along with 2 stalling points. Makes the score 8-2. 23 seconds left, and Joe Slayton really looking good. He's got riding time, and so he's going to let Nebraska's Jordan go to try to get a takedown here for a major decision. A major decision is when you win by more than by 8 points or more. And there's the 2 points. And the Iowa crowd shows their approval. Big crowd here at Northern Iowa, filling up one entire side of a football stadium.
Just drives right through after he let him go and got the point. He just went right through him and attacked, and nice finish at the end there.
Keeps his toes in, on the mat. A little injury time here with 12 seconds left in the match for Jordan. Looks like Joe Slayton is going to defeat Kenny Jordan, and here's a second angle of that shot.
But watch the finish here, Tim. He steps up, gets one knee up, now he drives back up to him, gets his head up into him, and that's enough to get his torso leaning back, getting his weight back on his heels, and he is able to score. That's good edge of the mat wrestling.
Needs to ride him out right here. If he rides him out, he does not.
Still has riding time, though.
Except it's 10-4.
Yeah, 10-4.
So riding time, it'll make it
11-4, so he didn't get it.
11-4, he did not, but he sure was aggressive. Joe Slayton from Iowa scores an 11-4 victory, gives Iowa 3 more points, makes the score 6-0. There you see it, Slayton 11, Jordan 4 at 133 pounds. Iowa out front, 6-0 over Nebraska in the National Dual Finals.
Why do you go to FanStore.com?
Because Dad needs a new Gator Golf Club cover.
We want bigger umbrellas for those Miami Hurricanes.
My son's getting his very first Yankees hat.
My wife would go wild for a Kentucky watch.
Get your butt in gear. Go to FanStore.com now and get free shipping on all orders over $75. Just enter the code MyCSTV, all lowercase, to receive this exclusive offer. FanStore.com, the first place to shop for every team you love.
141 pounds in the National Dual Finals between Iowa and Nebraska. Iowa out front 6-0. And Dan LeClaire from Iowa up against Mike Rowe from Nebraska. And Rowe goes right in and gets a takedown. Nope. He does give 2. Gives 2.
Got a 2-point takedown. That's a good call. At the same time here, LeClaire working to get a reversal. Rowe comes in here unranked. He's 1-1 overall in the duels, but first match was a 6-4 win over Jake Strayer, who was the number 2 ranked guy from Penn State. He was real big in the Penn State match where Nebraska beat the number 1 ranked team in the country.
Rowe gave Manny Rivera a good match in their semifinals, so he's a good wrestler, and he is up 2-0 early. Here in the finals, you hear other crowds and other cheers going on, and we have just a 18-mat circus here with all kinds of divisions of wrestling, Division II, Division III, NAIA, championships in 7 divisions, including women's wrestling clubs.
And I believe some attendance records have been set here for this event, so everybody's been very pleased about their host, the University of Northern Iowa, Brad Penrith and his program. Always doing a great job.
Mike Rowe from Nebraska, up 2-0. Early takedown. Now there's the escape for LeClaire. Right back in.
Right back in on the shot. He's got to try to come out the back door here.
Dan LeClaire, a 4-time state champion out of Coggan, Iowa, North Lynn High School. One of the young men from Iowa who joined Tom Brands at Virginia Tech and now is back in his home state, wrestling for Coach Brands. Mike Rowe from Huntington, Maryland, DeMatha Catholic High School, known mostly for its great basketball, DeMatha High School, and here's a Division I wrestler really holding his own, doing a great job in Mike Rowe. Rowe a sophomore, as is LeClaire. 2-1. Nebraska's Rowe out in front. The team score, 6 for Iowa, 0 for Nebraska after 2 matches.
Another takedown attempt there by LeClaire right there at the edge, but now Rowe is just does enough, to make it a scramble situation. And here we go again with LeClaire trying to come out the back door. He's got a situation where he can go ahead and score, but no, he doesn't get to do that, but now he's got an opportunity to. Doesn't look good for the Husker here at the edge of the mat, but they go off and
But that's the key. Points. It was the edge of the mat, and the score still 2-1 with 19 seconds left in the first period.
This is it's a surprising period for Rowe, but he's had a good tournament to this point. Look at this roll-through situation. Not much time left.
No time, no call.
A lot of near scoring situations for Dan LeClaire, but he just can't bring home the score.
2-1 in favor of Mike Rowe.
For today, 7,715. Ladies and gentlemen, that makes the total attendance for the 2 days of the 2008 National Duels, 15,700.
We have a little injury time. You were talking about attendance, and over 15,000 fans here in the last couple of days, and it's cold and snowy, and they still come out here at the Unidome on the campus of the University of Northern Iowa in Cedar Falls, Iowa.
This is a great venue. You saw some fantastic wrestling here, even in the consolation rounds. We saw Ohio State going against Penn State, and Michigan going against Minnesota. Michigan beat Minnesota for third. Ohio State beat Penn State. So Penn State comes in here number 1 ranked, Tim, and ends up with 2 losses. So I think they went 3-2 in the tournament.
At 141 pounds here, Iowa leads 6-0 after the winning at 125 and 133. But here, Nebraska's Mike Rowe is leading Dan LeClaire for Iowa 2-1 as we start the second period at 141 pounds. Rowe had an early takedown and looking for an escape or a reversal as LeClaire tries to get some points from top, but this is really a scramble situation, and it has been since the start.
Well, it starts with good shots by LeClaire, but Rowe just does enough during the scramble situations, and I think he's entirely comfortable doing what he's doing. He must be kind of a fun wrestler to watch in the practice room, but coaching-wise, you'd like to see him do a few more basic things, but it's working well for him now against a pretty quality opponent, LeClaire.
LeClaire building up riding time, a little over 40 seconds right now. LeClaire in for Alex Sertzis, who is apparently redshirting this year. All-American from Iowa. Dan LeClaire getting the opportunity to step in at 141 while Alex Sertzis redshirts, and it looks like he's doing the job.
Yeah, I think that's pretty accurate. I think Alex Sertzis had an opportunity to talk to him a little bit earlier, and I think he is going to go ahead and redshirt, but you still need to prepare like you're going to go ahead and wrestle this year, and you never know what can happen as far as injury goes, but that's certainly adding a lot of depth to their lineup. So LeClaire
3-1. Rowe out in front. Takedown in the first period. LeClaire escaped, and then in the second period, Rowe has gotten an escape. LeClaire in, and there's 2 points takedown. That's quick, Jim.
That really was quick, but it was the accurate call. He gave the benefit of the doubt to the guy who took the shot. He had his head in the middle. Both cheeks are on the mat. I give the 2 quick in that situation, and
knots its score up at 3-3.
And the adjustment that was made there, Tim, was that, okay, LeClaire not having any success going to one leg, I'll just take 2 at once.
LeClaire's been riding Rowe hard.
No question about that, because Rowe's looking for reversals and roll-through situations and maybe trying to catch him, but those tend to be easier guys to ride when they're looking for big moves. All you have to do is stay close to the hips. Cover the hips. That's what he's doing. And good period.
End of the second period. We go to the third period.
Here, watch him drop and go to 2, all right? When you go to 2, it usually doesn't allow the guy to snake around behind you. If he's looking to cheat to bring that other leg across here, when you go to 2, that usually cuts down the scramble situations.
We're in the third period at 141 pounds between Mike Rowe from Nebraska and Dan LeClaire from Iowa, and the score's 3-3. Dan LeClaire, when he's had the opportunity to be on top, he's done a nice job of riding, but right now, Mike Rowe would like to get a minute's worth of riding time.
And he's at 134 left, and he's got 16 seconds working for him, so the referee's going to call stalemate. But if he can go ahead and ride the period out, Rowe would win this match.
And that's what the coaches are showing him. Look what you have. Now ride hard for about 40 seconds. Matt Zykes, the head official, and LeClaire catches the leg, and Mike Rowe a little high, isn't he, Jim?
He is a little bit high, but he's still working that leg back pretty hard. It's surprising that LeClaire can't pull that out of there, but it's going to be tough for him to do that with his head on the mat.
Well, he's made some progress right there.
He's got to get his head up.
And a reversal right there. Not only that, it reverses the riding time and probably takes that out of play. So 5-3 with that reversal over Dan LeClaire. A very strong performance so far by LeClaire.
It is, and he just kind of worked his way against kind of a tough opponent that gives you a feel that you're not going to feel from a lot of your basic wrestlers. And right now, I think you probably want to stay behind the elbows here, cover the hips. Stay in the top position. You got 35 seconds left in the period, and they're on the edge of the mat. And I think Coach Brands likes the position here that his wrestler's in. And
the one thing you don't want to give up is a reversal.
Yeah, if you gave up a reversal, it's 1, not 2, meaning that in this situation you don't want to put the legs in. He's looking to his corner. And again, what's unique about this event that both teams are within. They're within 3 feet from each other. You see the benches there. You could steal some, pretty much know what the other coach is probably saying most of the time anyway, but LeClaire gives up the escape. Rowe's going to come hard.
5-4 in favor of Iowa's LeClaire.
And I guess what's important here for LeClaire is he's just keeping his feet moving. Now Rowe takes a shot. Not really looking to improve, and so LeClaire will get a big win.
And the Hawkeyes get their 3rd win in a row, go out in front of Nebraska 9-0. Good hard-fought match there between Mike Rowe and Dan LeClaire. You're looking at Dan LeClaire getting congratulated by Tom Brands. We'll be back with more college wrestling in just a moment.
The few, the proud, the Marines.
There's more to life than late night TV. It's time for you to play. Get into the action at BowDogLife.net. Join now and play for free. Bowdog Poker, the only place to play online.
The hottest Akon ringtones on your phone now. Grab your cell phone, text the code of the song to number 40100. Text AK25 for I Wanna Love You. Text AC25 for Smack That. Send it to number 40100. Akon ringtones on your phone now. Text AK25 for I Wanna Love You. Text AC25 for Smack That. Send it to number 40100. Just wait a little bit for the reply message and then follow the instructions to download now.
This is Conference USA, home to talented student athletes from 12 great universities. Every year, the competition within these walls gets tougher. The rivalries get more intense. It pushes these young men and women to become smarter athletes and stronger students. Pride and respect run deep in our house. Welcome to Conference USA. Competition lives here.
We're at 149 pounds now in the national dual finals between Nebraska and Iowa. Iowa leading 9-0. Nebraska's Jordan Burroughs will go up against Iowa's Brent Metcalf. Brent Metcalf out of Davison, Michigan, the same high school, Davison High School, as Paul Donahoe, the 25-pounder for Nebraska. Jordan Burroughs, a sophomore from Sickleville, New Jersey, Winslow Township High School. Metcalf is also a sophomore.
Brent Metcalf coming off a really impressive win against Josh Sherella from Michigan. Sherella, the 5-year senior. Metcalf, the freshman, and just real good physical, hard-fought match. Did a nice job of getting out from underneath. He's just got the full complement of skills and a gas tank to go with it.
It is Metcalf's first year wrestling because he had to give up a couple of years, one as a redshirt and one as for the transfer. He's a sophomore, so is Jordan Burroughs. And they met earlier this year in the finals of the Omaha Open Tournament, the Kaufman Brands Omaha Open Tournament, and Metcalf won 6-0 in the finals.
There's a nice leg attempt there by Burroughs, left-handed single leg. And every time that Burroughs drives into him, you notice how Metcalf has his left shoulder there, kind of driving, keeping him away. No, he'd like to get his arm back. They're going to settle to go off the mat.
Metcalf has taken on all comers this year. He's ranked number 2 in the nation. His only loss being against Darian Caldwell from North Carolina State, who pinned him real fast in one of those type of things in the first period. Otherwise, Metcalf, the Midlands champion, is certainly one of the favorites to win the NCAA title this year.
Well, that's the way you're going to have to get a guy like this, because he's constant 7 minutes of pressure. He doesn't get tired out there, and again, the type of wrestler that expands his lead once he gets a lead. Oh, nice single leg attempt. Comes to the head, comes back, drives through. He's wrestling a good athlete here. But he goes to the first choice, which is the far ankle. And he's got to work with some real estate here, trying to get to that far ankle. He's going to pull him all the way back until he gets that far ankle. Now he's got the points. That's just excellent execution there. Good single leg finish.
Brett Metcalf goes out in front 2-0 over Burroughs. There's Dan Gable, a familiar face in the Iowa Hawkeye program.
Yeah, he's got to be pretty happy with what he's seen here from the Hawks. I mean, Coach Gable's been behind the Hawk bench most of the time here, and got to be very pleased with the way this program is going.
Metcalf was undefeated in high school, 4-time state champion, 228-0. Went to Virginia Tech, along with the 3 Iowa champions, preps with Tom Brands. And we've seen Slayton, we've seen LeClaire, now Metcalf. And we'll see Jay Borchell a little later at 174.
Again, look at the way he stalks. I mean, he doesn't come out of his stance, and it's so hard to get through his head-to-hands defense. And again, Burroughs is kind of fake shot, half shot, can't get all the way through, and Metcalf's not falling for it, but at the same time just going forward, keeping pressure on. Every free move is forward, but forward when he's keeping a good stance.
Time's ticking away in the first period. Metcalf ahead 2-1. Early takedown. Burroughs got an escape. We're at 149 pounds. Mike Haggerty, the official. There's the end of the first period. There's Mark Manning. His wrestler gets the choice and chooses down. Tony Ursuline, his assistant, right to his right, our left here on the screen.
And Tim, you mentioned this earlier, but both programs, 11 sophomores combined.
Only 1 senior on each team. Mark Perry for Iowa at 165, and May, the heavyweight, for Nebraska. The only 2 seniors on the team, 11 sophomores. And for being so young, they have a lot of savvy and good experience.
You know, these are quality wrestlers here that are going to be back, year after year, all throughout their careers.
7 sophomores.
No one-year wonders.
7 sophomores for Iowa, 4 sophomores for Nebraska.
Low ankle attempt there by Burrows. Again, Metcalf showing very quick. Look how low his hands are. He's looking for that shot, also looking for his own shot. Then when he does put his hands on the opponent here, it's heavy hands. Really makes the opponent work.
2-2. Takedown early in the first period for Metcalf. An escape for Burrows, and then an escape here in the second period for Burrows. The 4th match in this dual championship final, the National Dual Championships.
Every free tie-up situation, Metcalf is moving forward. Now, you know, granted, he's going to take the other guy off the mat, but he's making an impression on the official. And, you know, over time, that's going to help him in his career, establish a reputation. He's already got a good reputation as far as that goes, as far as being aggressive. But, you know, those points are going to add up in tough match situations later on. Going forward. Look at that.
And Jordan Burrows is looking for a way to go forward himself and not having much success.
He's better off just standing his ground. Creating a scramble. Okay. But Metcalf has both ankles. Not going to get 2 yet because of the lock in the crotch.
30 seconds left in the second period.
But Metcalf's going to get his head out on the far side if he can. Will be too, constantly working to improve.
There's 2 points with only 14 seconds left in this second period. And there, Metcalf goes ahead 4-2, and he is going to have the choice in the final period.
That's just persistence, and I think that paid off. Nice job by Burrows coming out, but doesn't get the points.
Does not give the points. Tom Brands looking on with a lead, 9-0 for his team after 3 matches. And Metcalf chooses down. He's up 4-2. Coach Brands looks happy.
Well, you know what? I'd be awful happy, too, coaching a kid like this that is going forward all the time. And I know that Tom's had a lot to do with that. He's been with him for a while. 3 years now, recruited him to follow him. And this situation here where I've been very impressed with Metcalf, and as a sophomore, not a lot of experience.
Escape for Metcalf, and right back in, looking to score again. Has the ankle. If he can pull it in, he'll have 2. Except that Burrows, who is quick, pulls his other leg out.
Doesn't look like he's going to get it, but Tim, what I've been most impressed with him is his down position wrestling. I mean, he wrestled Josh Chiarello, was a quality opponent in the top position, and kept the pockets closed and did a nice job of, even right there, getting out from underneath. And that's probably one of the more difficult skills to teach young college wrestlers, and he's got it.
He's ahead of the game, a sophomore, ranked number 2 in the nation. Brent Metcalf for Iowa out front, 5'2", here with 149 pounds in the finals of the National Dual Championships. Iowa out in front of the team, 9-0 over Nebraska.
He has the skills. Now he's in on the other leg. We saw before where he was working the single leg, and now he's on the other leg. And this is, you know, position that we're going to see. Nope. He's off.
He's off the mat. 1 point for Iowa. Technical violation against Nebraska's Jordan Burrows for fleeing the mat. 6-2 for Metcalf.
Nebraska unseated.
It does seem like Metcalf is just carrying on what every Iowa wrestler has been doing since Charlie Falk beat Donahoe. I mean, they're chasing.
Yep, they're chasing, and Charlie Falk was, you know, moving forward. He had the offensive shot in the match, and it's just carried forward. And now Nebraska's kind of reeling a little bit here. They've seen their leader and returning national champion. They've had a great tournament to this point, and you know, you got to be careful not just to be content with getting here. They do have the matchups there, or had the matchups anyway, with besides the upset of Falk. That wasn't really an upset, you know, big upset, but you have to, anytime you beat a national champion, it's a big win. But you got to keep it up over there on the sideline and not just be content with the last match, just giving up. But I think a lot of it's just that the Hawkeyes are just coming after them, been relentless in these first few weights.
Hawkeyes seeded number 2. Penn State got upset as the number 1 seed. Nebraska upsetting them, as well as Northwestern, the number 8 seed, and then Minnesota, the number 5 seed. Nebraska coming through a very, very tough bracket to be here as an unseeded opponent of the number 2 seeded Iowa here in the finals.
Counter shot by...
That was a no call. 6-2 is the final score at 149 pounds. Brent Metcalf for Iowa over Jordan Burroughs from Nebraska, and he puts his Hawkeyes out front 12-0 after 149 pounds.
I'm Stacy. And I'm Tracy. I have my own personal college sports channel. And I have my own college sports channel. We're twins, but we're total opposites. My channel has gymnastics. And my channel has rugby. Well, my channel has hockey, yeah? And mine has rodeo. We never agree on what to watch. And now we don't have to.
Be the head of your own college sports channel. Put all your teams on all your screens. Find out how at cstv.com/mychannel.
If you think the level of competition is impressive, wait till you see the level of coverage. High school meets high impact with maxpreps.com. America's most comprehensive source for high school sports. Find out how your local teams compare. Who's in the hunt to be state champs? And which teams and players are leaving their stamp on the national stage. Get pumped on your high school teams. Log on to maxpreps.com.
We're at 157 pounds here at the National Dual Finals between Iowa and Nebraska. Iowa's Ryan Morningstar, a sophomore, going up against Nebraska's Chris Oliver, a junior. These two have met before earlier this year, with Morningstar winning 4-0 at the Kauffman Brands Open. Morningstar, no, actually it was last year's national duels. They met, not in the championships, but in earlier rounds. And Morningstar and Oliver met. Morningstar won 4-0.
Now, both these guys are, they're rated in the, well, I guess the Oliver's rated 18.
And Ryan Morningstar 19.
Yeah,
so
in that 18-19, top 20 category here. But they're both guys that if they, could get a hot tournament, could really add some points to both these teams' national finals total. Nice low shot there by Morningstar. He's brought up into the hips of Oliver. He's got his head being pushed down. If he can come up, keep on coming up here. Maybe drop down to the ankle. Up, allows his grip to be pulled away there.
Oliver, a 3-year starter at 157 pounds, qualified for the NCAAs last year, as did Ryan Morningstar as a freshman. Morningstar, from 3-time state champion from Lisbon, Iowa. His dad, Scott, was a 4-time state champion. They certainly in the blood there.
Hey, Ryan Morningstar works best when he just keeps his feet moving. He doesn't stay stationary and is in and out. And just because his opponent's not moving his feet doesn't mean he should, slow down his motion. He works better. He's in and out, right, left.
Oliver from Nebraska, Omaha, Nebraska, Creighton Prep High School.
Comes from a wrestling family also. His dad, I believe, was Ray Oliver, or Ray or Roy. Both were All-Americans for Nebraska.
Son of Ray.
Yeah.
Yep. He was born in Lincoln, Nebraska.
Morningstar in a shot. He's got the bottom leg hooked, and if he can go ahead and tip that head, get his ear on the other side of that hip, he'll be all right. He'll get the points. Got plenty of time to work. Nothing so far. If he can come around and push that knee away, it'll give his head a chance to clear out. You push that opposite Oliver's left knee away from his head with his right hand, he'll get the points. But he's clinging on right now. Maybe he feels like he can pop that head on his own, but if he can move up a little bit.
He's going to pop it.
Yeah. It was close. They lost the leg hook.
There's the 2 points, Ryan Morningstar. 10 seconds left in the first period.
Big finish of the period here. You'd like to see your Hawkeye fans probably like to see their guy finish on the top position, just like he did right there.
The end of the first period at 157 pounds. Ryan Morningstar from Iowa ahead 2-0 over Chris Oliver from Nebraska. Oliver chooses down. You're looking at Chris Oliver, close up there. Ryan Morningstar on top. We're at 157 pounds. National Dual Finals, Unidome here in Cedar Falls, Iowa, where Iowa leads Nebraska after 4 matches, 12-0. They've won 4 in a row. Number 2 seeded Iowa out in front with a commanding lead on the unseeded Nebraska Cornhuskers. Iowa trying to win their first national duals championship since 1996 when they defeated the Cornhuskers for the championship.
Morningstar doing a nice job of getting that leg in. Now he's working to turn Oliver's hips. If he can get the turn Oliver's hips, the shoulders will follow. He's just trying to get up a little bit higher on him. Now I noticed how he just got his hips down and his head up. That's good technique there. Got a nice bow on his back.
Good ride here for Ryan Morningstar, ahead 2-0 on a late takedown in the first period.
You saw there where Oliver tried to force his way up and ran into Morningstar's strength with that hip up there. Bar in the far arm. And the referee's going to call it stalemate. Pretty much a parallel ride. They'll give you so much time on that, then they'll give the man underneath a new start.
Talking about his dad, Ray Oliver, he wrestled for his dad, Ray, who was his coach in high school, where he was an undefeated 4-time state champion. But that was good teams back there in 81 to 83 with Nebraska. The Shear brothers and Albright and
Johnny Selman.
Yep, they had it going, as did the Hawks.
Side tilt situation by Morningstar. Trying to elevate the bottom leg. He's got the top leg elevated right now. He doesn't have the grip that he'd like to have. Gets his hips back up on top. Kind of spreading Oliver out. Oliver really not contesting that very much.
Big ride for Ryan Morningstar here. Almost 2 minutes worth of riding time going to be put together. It's going to be over 2 minutes if he rides these final 15 seconds. Going into the last period, ahead 2-0. Plenty of riding time, and will have the opportunity to have his choice whether he wants to be underneath or neutral.
Well, I think in this situation, you probably do go down. Oh, he looked over at Tom Brands, and Tom goes neutral.
Yes, let's go neutral. And so he listens to the coach. The beginning of the third period, Ryan Morningstar from Iowa leading Chris Oliver from Nebraska at 157 pounds, 2-0. Just rode out the entire second period, giving him a lot of riding time, which would give him an extra point if it stays. And here's a close to a takedown. He's looking, he gets it. The takedown for Ryan Morningstar for the Hawkeyes, out in front now 4-0. The Hawkeyes out in front 12-0 in the team duel, looking for their first championship in the national duel since 1996, and their fourth overall.
Pretty simple there for Morningstar. Get Oliver's head on the mat and just run right around him. This is the 4th match these guys have had in 2 days. 2 yesterday and 2 today. You wouldn't think conditioning would be much of a factor here, but so far the Nebraska wrestlers don't look like they have that pop that they had in the last dual meet.
Well, when you're going up against the kind of competition you're going up, I mean, you're banging all the time, and it's a little bit different than just any old dual meet.
Yeah, and you're also watching your teammates wrestle, and they've had 3 pretty emotional meets. Maybe it's not the physical part of it, but just the emotional tank is not quite there. Again, a
1-point escape there for
Oliver. Score 6-1.
6-1.
Yeah, this is a good confidence builder for Morningstar. You just go ahead and
warning on Chris Oliver for stalling. Escape for Chris Oliver is 2, and extra point for the stalling for Ryan Morningstar makes the score 7-2.
Yep, just basically keeping him at bay there.
Yep.
Nice
Final
match.
score with riding time, 7-2.
7-2 riding time.
Ryan Morningstar wins at 157 pounds over Chris Oliver. Gives the Iowa Hawkeyes 3 more points. And now a 15-0 lead. 5 straight wins for the Hawkeyes. We're at 165 pounds in the National Dual Finals here at the Unidome in Cedar Falls. Iowa versus Nebraska for the championship finals. Iowa out in front, 15-0, and Stephen Dwyer, a sophomore for Nebraska, will go up against Aaron Jansen at 165. Mark Perry injured, kind of protecting a knee injury from the semifinals where he upset #1 ranked Eric Tannenbaum from Michigan.
Yeah, it was a tight match. Tannenbaum was coming back and looked like, it sounds like he tweaked his knee a little bit and kind of gutted it out in that last minute and a half to hold on to the win.
And no reason now to jeopardize it with going out the way Iowa has.
That's a good call because at a 15-0 lead, you've won 2 of the toss-up matches right now, and actually one of the matches where Nebraska would have been favored. So everything going your way, there's no sense hurting your will-be #1 ranked wrestler, Perry, and hope he didn't get tweaked too bad there.
Perry coming back, speaking of Mark Perry, winning that match against Eric Tannenbaum had to really feel good for him after getting beat at home against Oklahoma State's Diefenbaugh, and had to make him maybe wonder momentarily, well, back on top.
Yeah, well, he's the outstanding, you go from being the outstanding wrestler of the Midlands, all right, to being in front of 14,000 people at Carver Hawkeye and returning national champion and losing. So I'm sure he felt a little bit better about himself, and again, he's just has a skill set all to his own that not a lot of guys have. Very difficult, and he's wrestling a quality opponent in Tannenbaum, and came away with the win. But Aaron Jansen, Emmitsburg, Iowa, couple-time state champion, or state champion, I believe, at least one time, going off of memory.
The redshirt freshman, and he won 3 state titles for Emmitsburg High School. Going up against Stephen Dwyer from Rockton, Illinois.
Dwyer ranked in the top 10. He's ranked #9. He's been 3-0 in this tournament so far. One of those situations where you go out there thinking you may be wrestling the returning national champion in a different style. Now you've got, another wrestler out there, and here we've gone through almost 2 minutes of wrestling, and you haven't have a takedown yet.
Dwyer went to Hononegah High School, where he was a state champion.
Low shot by Jansen. He tried to get his head out, come out the back door. Dwyer putting a lot of weight on that. It's going to be tough for him to come up, but he's got a hold of both legs now.
20 seconds left in this first period.
Yeah, he allowed his bottom ankle to get trapped there.
And Nebraska's Dwyer goes out in front with a takedown here with very few seconds left in the first period. Dwyer out in front 2-0.
Dwyer with a takedown as the first period ends. 2-0 lead. Nebraska.
Little blood on the eye there. Aaron Jansen for the first period. Down 2-0 to Stephen Dwyer from Nebraska, sophomore. As you said, ranked number 9. Aaron Jansen unranked. Filling in for defending NCAA champion Mark Perry, who in his big win against Eric Tannenbaum from Michigan in the semifinals tweaked his knee, and they're protecting it now with such a big lead. Mark Manning, the head coach in his 8th year at Nebraska.
Going at it pretty hard, and see kind of the battle scars from some of the previous matches some of these guys had. Dwyer have 3 other matches, and get started again.
You're looking at Stephen Dwyer and Aaron Jansen at 165 pounds in the national dual finals. Iowa leading Nebraska 15-0. And it's on the strength of 5 straight wins. Falk beating Donahoe 3-2. Slayton beating Jordan 11-4. LeClaire beating Rowe 5-4. Metcalf defeating Burroughs 6-2. And Morningstar beating Oliver 7-2. 15-0 for the Hawkeyes with those 5 straight wins over the Cornhuskers. And now the Cornhuskers trying to get on the board. Stephen Dwyer leading 2-0 after a takedown late in the first period. And he gets a reversal here, goes out in front 4-0.
Well, Dwyer walked out there on that mat expecting to see the legs in when he shows the down position, and Jansen gave him an opportunity. I'm not so sure that what he used there could have got out of Mark Perry's legs, but not many people get out of Mark's legs. Dwyer working pretty hard in that top position. Got the figure 4 on the near leg.
Dwyer, one of those coming straight out of high school and filling in the spot last year as a true freshman for Nebraska, and went to the qualified for the NCAA's, got some experience and did not become an All-American, but it's invaluable to have been there now as a true sophomore. There's Tony Ursuline, the assistant coach to Mark Manning, and Coach Manning right there.
Well, particularly when you look at you got a chance to come back there as a sophomore. You're ranked number 9. You're 1 spot away, I suppose, if it's according to the rankings. I mean, you're in that mix to be an All-American. And so this is it's important to keep your focus. And Cornhuskers got to take a lot of confidence back to their wrestling room.
There's 2 points right there. We've got an escape and 2 points. That'll make the score 4-3. Aaron Jansen gets away, gets a takedown, and he's right back in this match.
If he can ride him out here.
1 point escape. 25 seconds left in this second period.
Riding time not really a factor. Dwyer's got it, but here's that little snap down, spin around.
5-3 in favor of Stephen Dwyer from Nebraska over Aaron Jansen from Iowa. Here at 165 pounds. Late in the second period at the National Dual Championship Finals, the Unidome in Cedar Falls, Iowa.
Dwyer back on the attack. Not a lot of time.
Iowa's Jansen gets a choice. Tom Brown tells him what to do and says, you go down. Mike Allen, the official, sets him on the bottom and brings on Stephen Dwyer on top. Just how important is it for Nebraska's Dwyer to win this match for the Cornhuskers?
It's huge. A big mental thing. I mean, it's kind of like wrestling real well in the first day and a half of the Nationals, then losing a bunch of matches when it comes to the medal round. To get in to be an All-American, it's almost that type of a setting.
Little injury here time. Nope, they're not going to take injury. It's just a reset. 165 pounds, Aaron Jensen for the Hawks goes back down, and Dwyer comes back up on top.
Roll through situation. Now Jansen do a nice job
and
of getting
successful.
hips
1
out.
point escape. Brings the score within 1 again for Jansen. He's down 5-4. Dwyer had a takedown, a reversal, and then Jansen got an escape and a takedown, and now Dwyer.
A lot of encouragement from that Hawkeye bench. All 4 coaches are up on their feet. Teammates, you know, this is an important match for their guy. You know, they got a guy that's they like, real likable guy, and he's in that program, in that room every day. He's got an opportunity to help and contribute to this championship, and they want to see him do well. 5-4.
On the other side, Nebraska, as you look at their body language, is just
different.
sitting. It's different, but it just can't be. You know what I'm saying? And this is a big match for Nebraska, as you said. 5-4. 1:05 left, and the Hawkeye fans obviously outnumbering any other set of fans here at the Unidome in Cedar Falls, Iowa, cheering on Aaron Jansen to try to get that takedown that would win it for the Hawkeyes. Iowa's won 5 matches in a row in this dual final between Nebraska and Iowa.
And again, maybe Jansen hasn't decided this yet. But everybody's got to have that go-to shot. You're down by 30. Spin around situation. Dwyer's got an opportunity to score. Burning clock.
And he finds the 2 points there. The other leg, 2 points takedown for Dwyer. Goes out in front 7-4 with 25 seconds left in regulation time.
Well, that's a
little roll through and reversal. Makes the score 7-5, 7-6, and that's why I said regulation time 8-6. 10 seconds left. Takedown would tie it up here for Jansen.
Jansen's just out there battling.
Not going to happen. Oh, so close. Very good effort by Jansen, filling in for Mark Perry. But Stephen Dwyer puts Nebraska on the board. Gives them their first victory, 3 points. And the score now, Iowa 15 and Nebraska 3 after 165 pounds.
Great job by Jansen battling there.
The men's basketball season is pumping. You don't want to miss a single beat. Can John Calipari continue to lead his Tigers to another #1 seed? Or will Tulsa stop them in their tracks? Watch Memphis versus Tulsa tomorrow at 8. NCAA men's basketball. Possession. CSTV.
Male enhancement. 5 years ago, few believed that this simple capsule could make a man larger. There was a lot of skepticism that a simple capsule could do such an amazing thing. A capsule that can make a man larger? But now, 5 years later, Extens has sold over 100 million capsules to men of all ages all over the world.
That's because the key ingredient in Extens has been scientifically proven to increase the size of that certain part of the male body. It's not a gimmick. It's real science. Now with over 100 million Extens capsules taken by men, it's hard to be skeptical. Extens was designed to do only one thing, make you larger regardless of age.
We're so sure Extens will make you larger, we're going to give you a week's supply absolutely free. All you pay for is the postage stamp.
A week's supply of Extens for the cost of a postage stamp. If Extens didn't do something pretty amazing, could we afford to do this? Call now for your free week's supply of Extens. You have nothing to lose, but a lot to gain.
It's time to get your tickets for the 2008 Conference USA Basketball Championship, March 12th through the 15th at FedEx Forum in Memphis.
Hi, I'm John Calipari, head coach of the University of Memphis. Come and enjoy Beale Street, barbecue, and great college basketball.
Get your tickets today. Call 888-867-U-of-M. That's 888-867-U-of-M.
And we're ready for 174 pounds, the national dual finals here, the Unidome in Cedar Falls, Iowa. The finals between Iowa and Nebraska. Iowa out in front, 15-3, won the first 5 matches. Stephen Dwyer, the 165-pounder for Nebraska, just won, put Nebraska on the board. Borshell versus Brandon Brown, last time these guys met, Brown beat Borchell, and that was this year in the Kaufman Brands Open in Omaha. Brown beat Borchell 11-7. That's a couple of months ago, though. Brandon Brown is ranked number 5. Borchell ranked number 11.
Borchell's had a good tournament, too. I mean, he's just constantly looks like he's improving. He was second-place finisher in the Midlands. Lost a tight match the other day against Oklahoma State.
At 174 on mat 4, we have Jay Borchell of Iowa, Brandon Brown of Nebraska.
Yeah, he doesn't do anything real flashy. He just comes straight at you, and he's impressed me with his defense. I mean, guys get on good shots on him, and he's on the edge of the mat here right now. I don't think he's probably going to get that. They'll go off the mat, but his defense, once the guy gets in on the leg, has been impressive. And that's kind of the first things you got to do if you're going to climb the ladder a little bit from those lower rankings to being in the top 8, is you shore up your defense a little bit and then get on the offense.
Brown from Plattsmouth, Nebraska, Plattsmouth High School, is a junior. As we said, he's ranked number 5. And Borchell is a sophomore for the Hawks.
Right on.
Was a 4-time state champion from Linn-Mar High School, Marion.
And right on cue here, you see Borchell just a little bit of flexibility there, but no chance for the Nebraska wrestler here to get up and finish this. And you know, these are the little things here. If you can go ahead and be difficult to score on, make yourself heavy at the right time. If you've got good shots yourself, which Borchell does, well, he gives up the takedown there.
Brown scores first. 2-0, a little over a minute left in the first period at 174 pounds. The escape for Borchell.
Well, there's 18 points scored in this match last time these guys met, so.
Borchell, as I said, was a 4-time state champion from Linn-Mar. He won it at the smallest weight, a 103, then worked his way up all the way to winning it at 171 his senior year at Linn-Mar. So he's learned to wrestle at every level of weight class, Jim.
Yeah, that's the only time I recall ever seeing or hearing that happen. First of all, that big of a growth spurt from 103 to 171, but that's pretty amazing over 4 years. But and that's all lean muscle weight too. Back in on a shot.
There's two. Takedown for Borchell. Makes the score 3-2, and we've talked about Borchell before. He seems to come on. He's got a tank on his back, and he does better as the match goes on.
Yeah, and I think the only thing that's been keeping him from being the wrestler that's even ranked even higher is just his defense. But as I mentioned before, I think that's improving. I think Iowa can expect. Here's just a straight drop. Watch him drop, step up, comes across. Really not much to that shot. It was kind of a one sprawl and done for Brown.
We're at the beginning of the second period at 174 pounds. It's the national duels. Iowa's Jay Borchell leading Nebraska's Brandon Brown at 174 pounds, 3-2 as we begin the second period.
Borchell in the top position. Always been a pretty good wrestler on the top. Just going to drop in on the leg.
Getting separation there, Brown is looking for his escape. Borchell still accumulating riding time because he's hooked up high on the thigh. There is 1 point for Brown to tie up the match, and back in on the ankle. What's he need to do there, Jim, to complete this?
Yeah, needs to try to get his head up, and even if you have to let go of the lock and put your hand on the mat to help you come up. So he's got his hand on the mat right now, but his right arm's not really helping him get his head up and move into him. Really, it looks like unless Borchell messes something up here, this looks like a stalemate. Yeah, he's looking for the far ankle. Yeah, just not active enough down there once he just needed to get going a half second earlier than what he did. Gave Borchell too much time to react and get comfortable.
We're at 174 pounds. The national team duel championships between Iowa and Nebraska at the Unidome. In Cedar Falls, Iowa, I'm Tim Johnson along with Jim Gibbons, bringing you this great mid-season classic, the NWCA Cliff Keen National Duels.
Low single attempt by Brown. Opportunity for Borschel to score, and he does.
There he does. 2 points for Borschel. Makes the score 5-3.
In this sport, you can't be one and done. Whatever it is, you can't just go right to a leg and stop, and that's kind of what happened with Brown there. One solid move forward and done. You've got to be able to reload and as quickly as possible and follow through.
14 seconds left, and Brown trying to get something here, but it's the riding time is accumulating for Borschel.
Escape situation. Nope, he comes right back.
He does give one to Brandon Brown for escape. Makes the score now 5-4 in favor of Borschel. Mark Manning trying to encourage his wrestler. He says keep him down, get rid of, or try to gain some riding time to get rid of Borschel's advantage. He's got 1:15. If he can ride him for about 20 seconds and give himself some margin, then he can go to work on the feet.
And even if he gets back into this match and takes him down a little bit later, he has cut the riding.
Oh.
No, he didn't.
Of course, he needs the takedown anyway. With the takedown, he'll get rid of the riding time. 1:01 riding time for Jay Borschel. 6-4 in favor of the Iowa Hawkeye, trying to get the 6th win out of 7 for the Hawkeyes here in this national team duel finals.
Another scoring opportunity for Borschel.
And he does come up with 2 more points takedown. Really doing a nice job on the feet today.
He just picks up momentum here. Just as the match goes on, he gets more and more momentum. Now he's going to get that riding time build up. He's got a 9-4 lead with riding time. I still think there's an opportunity for more scoring in this match for both wrestlers.
Little over a minute left. Score on the board, 8-4 in favor of Borschel, but he has got 1:25 and counting in riding time, so chances are he will end up with an extra point for riding time unless Brown can make something big happen. Jay Borschel trying to turn around their earlier match at the Kaufman Brand Open earlier in the year, a couple of months ago, where Brown beat Borschel 11-7. The only other meeting between these two wrestlers.
And how's he done it? He's just basically shored up the scramble situation. He hasn't allowed Brown to out scramble him. And the other thing too has been obvious, his defense has been a little bit better.
Does a really nice job of just really keeping the head down, the elbows tied up.
It's pretty much old school stuff. Stay behind the elbow, cover the hips. I thought there'd be more scoring in this, but Brown really hasn't made a decent attempt to get back up.
Borschel is going to win this. He's got riding time, had that on. It's 9-4, big win. Turnaround for Borschel from the last time they met, and Jay Borschel wins at 174 pounds with riding time 9-4. 3 more points for the Hawkeyes, makes the score 18-3 in favor of Iowa after 174 pounds.
The passage is intense, but if you complete the journey, you will find your destiny among the world's greatest warriors. The few, the proud, the Marines.
What's up? I'm Steve, and this is Steve TV, my own personal college sports channel, made by me, for me. Who's got Mountain West football? Me. Who's all over Pac-10 football? Me. It's like a meat casserole with a side of meat. It even smells like meat. Don't believe me? Ask my girlfriend Mimi. Hi. That's enough, Mimi. Now let's get back to some football.
Be the head of your own college sports channel. Put all your teams on all your screens. Find out how at cstv.com/mychannel.
184 pounds at the National Dual Championship finals here at the Unidome. in Cedar Falls, Iowa. I'm Tim Johnson, along with Jim Gibbons, bringing you this mid-season classic, the NWCA Cliff King National Dual Championships in Iowa. Out in front, a commanding lead, 18-3 over Nebraska. Iowa was expected to be here. Nebraska unseeded, beating lots of seeded opponents and having three upsets in a row to be here, but they've kind of run out of juice, both physically and probably mentally. Jim, as you pointed out, this is Phil Ketty for Iowa at 184 versus Vince Jones for Nebraska.
Well, Vince Jones is the reason why, as much as anybody, why the Huskers are here. Big, come from behind, down 2-1, beats Roger Kish.
Not only beats him, he pins him in the final 10 seconds.
9-point swing, which was huge to allow them to get here. And so now he's going against Phil Ketty, who's just a tough physical wrestler.
And he's got the cradle hooked up.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see what Ketty tries to do with this. He's got an opportunity to go ahead and try to just roll him back, just kind of like neck wrench him back over towards the middle of the mat. The referee's going to stop it, so.
2 points for Phil Ketty from Vernal, Utah. Ketty, a sophomore, and gaining steam in this Hawkeye lineup.
He really is. I like, he's much like a lot of the older older Iowa wrestlers that just came straight at you, double underhook, and we try to slide you by, maybe go into a leg off of it. But you can see him kind of gradually getting tougher and tougher as you go, and be a big win for him, and he's going to challenge Jones, and there's an escape potential. Ketty just coming around and creating scrambles here, making Jones work a little bit harder than what he might be used to.
Jones from the same hometown as Burroughs, Sicklerville, New Jersey, Winslow Township High School. Redshirted last year, was a qualifier the year before, NCAA qualifier. And as you said, Jim, had a huge semifinal win. Down 2-1 to Roger Kish with 10 seconds left. Not only takes him down, but plants him for a fall, where it was going to be 3 more for Minnesota and likely putting them in the driver's seat to win their semifinal dual meet against Nebraska. All of a sudden, 6 points for Nebraska because of this never say die attitude of Vince Jones. But right now, he's got to have that same kind of attitude because he's down 2-0. First period, Ketty already a minute 26 riding time after an early takedown.
Well, he had to work his way back into this, and so far, Ketty's not going to have any part of it. You're going to try to keep him down in the down position and get riding time. He's already ridden him for a minute 40. 20 seconds left in the first period. So one way to stay away from that big move and big throw is just go ahead and keep him down. Again, but we've seen this improvement come along with Ketty for a while, and it's just, I talk about what this tournament is like physically is how it relates back to the national tournament. Again, this is like Saturday night or Friday night of the national tournament where you're in that maybe in that medal round or the NCAA semifinals, the second day of a tournament. So, the conditioning level maybe this time of year is not where it needs to be. But you've got, basically 2 months to go back and correct that.
Quick escape for Philip Ketty, who's ranked 11th, going up against Vince Jones, who's ranked 10th. But both there knocking on the door, trying to become that in the top 8 there. To be, they could both be All-Americans.
But this is the way you'll feel at that time. It's just, this is great practice for that, and both these teams are going to learn a lot about their physical conditioning, and they already know about their team's talent. Here's a throw situation. There's an opportunity for Jones to get back into it here.
3-0 in favor of Phil Ketty. Iowa winning 6 of 7 matches, and all have been by simple decisions. None of them pins, none of them major decisions, but all of them commanding victories.
Yeah, this is workmanlike. Just keep the same pace they've been going at every match. An attempt there by Jones. Just a front head and arm. Nothing special here by Ketty. I like the way he's moving his feet. When he gets weight on his man, he goes ahead and circles. He circles down.
Ketty kind of reminds me of Travis Pfizer a little bit, one of the old wrestlers from Iowa. Body type, workmanlike, just kept getting better.
Yeah, kept getting better and much better the last day of the tournament than he was the first, usually. Nice high crotch there, switch cross.
Takedown.
Ketty has the ability to go ahead, once he gets on the leg, to drive back through. Look how quick his feet were moving there. And here we are, fourth big match. And you're looking for the things that, hey, what do we need to work on here going forward for the next 2.5 months? And what does our conditioning look like? What scramble situations are we losing in? What are we getting beat in the down position? How are we finishing? You know, you're picking up things about your team that you know you have to work on. But Iowa's got to be feeling pretty good about the way they look right now, at least physically, in this match.
Philip Ketty out in front, 5-0, the sophomore, establishing himself this year in the Iowa lineup at 184 pounds.
Watch his feet. Drop, drive. Now, move. Right there. Drive across.
Beginning the third period, 184 pounds. They started neutral. Phil Ketty out in front, 5-0, but we've seen how dangerous Vince Jones can be.
Yeah, here's a situation where he's got a scoring opportunity. Then gets the big move. But just not enough to go ahead and finish it out and get the points. And give the official an opportunity to call a stalemate.
Back to the center, where they started neutral for this third period. Ketty out in front, 5-0. The national dual championship finals between Iowa and Nebraska. Tim Johnson along with Jim Gibbons. Iowa leading 18-3. We're at 184 pounds. And Iowa's Ketty out in front.
5-0 and has riding time. And this is an opportunity for him to go ahead and really make a statement here. Takedown and ride out situation gives him a major.
Great attendance here at the national duels, over 15,000 watching the duels with 7 divisions. Division 1, Division 2 and 3, NAIA, club, women's. Incredible event. Mid-season classic, the NWCA Cliff Keen National Duels takedown, and Philip Ketty, 7 more points.
It all started with the underhook. He just really active with his underhook. Came in on the leg from there, came back to the ankle, finished elbow deep.
If he rides him out, it'll give Iowa its first major decision because he'll have an 8-0 win, but it isn't going to be easy. And Vince Jones makes sure of it. Another regular decision for Iowa as Philip Ketty gets riding time, wins 8-1. You're looking at the winner at 184, Phil Ketty for Iowa. They go out in front 21-3.
This was a good tournament for Phil Ketty.
It's 21-3 Iowa over Nebraska at the end of 184 pounds.
They've stormed beaches and freed countries. They've raised our flag and our hope. They've been called leathernecks. They've been called devil dogs. But above all, they're called Marines.
College basketball is in high gear.
Show me what you got. Show me what you got. Show me what you got. Oh, that's hot, that's hot, that's hot. Show me what you got. Show me what you got. Show me what you got. Oh, that's hot.
Watch DePaul take on Notre Dame tonight at 8. NCAA women's basketball. Possession CSTV.
And now we're ready for 197 pounds at the National Duel Finals between Iowa and Nebraska. Iowa sending out Chad Beatty, and Nebraska, Craig Brester. Craig Brester, a sophomore from Howells, Nebraska. Howells High School is 4th ranked nationally. Chad Beatty wrestling what we'd call up a weight.
Yeah, probably a weight and a half. You know, he probably could be a 74-pounder and maybe have a difficult time making that team that weight. But 84, of course, not making it there, and with Keddy, and 97 has been the weight class that has been the Achilles heel for the Hawks here most of the season. And but Beatty has some skills. He's a pretty fair wrestler.
2-time state champion from Wilton High School in Wilton, Iowa, just down the road from Iowa City. He's a sophomore, listed in the program at 174, as you were talking about, Jim, wrestling for the team at 197. Brester, a qualifier for the NCAAs last year, only a sophomore. From Howells, Nebraska. He was a 2-time state champion at Howells High School.
So many teams, 97 nationwide is fairly good weight class here. You've got Phil Davis from Penn State, and let's talk about the competition here just for a second. Penn State comes in here, #1 ranked team, gets beat by Ohio State for the match for 5th and 6th, and then gets beat by Nebraska, who was unranked. Okay,
in the quarters.
Yeah, I mean it's just all in the matchups this year. Minnesota, returning champion, comes in as the #5 seed.
Oklahoma State, who's not in this tournament this year, has shown itself as in the mix again.
Another good young team. Has got looks a lot like a lot of the teams that are here that have 1 or 2 experienced guys. And Coleman Scott, the 33-pounder, NCAA runner-up, Nathan Morgan, with the rest of a group of young guns.
0-0. It's scoreless after almost 2 minutes of wrestling here at 197 pounds. Brester, certainly the favored wrestler for Nebraska, being ranked 4th in the nation, going up against Chad Beatty, who we've said is up a weight or 2, filling in for the Hawks where they just don't have a solid 197 pounder.
You know, that's these young teams. We mentioned Nebraska's young. Iowa's, I think they're fairly young, and
7 sophomores, yeah.
Yeah, and how they replace their guys. I mean, how they're going to be competitive next year. Obviously you've got a few weight classes that you really have to fill, and it'll be which coaching staff kind of gets the right young guys at the right weight to complement their maturing group of sophomores.
And you know what? It's a maturing group of coaches.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, when you think about Coach Brands and Cale Sanders in Iowa State, and Mark Manning coming into his own after 8 years or so, it's a new breed and maturing group of coaches.
Well, we could have totally different array of finishes here next year. We have these, a lot of teams have guys coming back. I mean, this is going to be an interesting national duels for years to come with these young, tough teams.
Ladies and gentlemen, the score coming from behind at this point as we go to the heavyweights. Men #3, Nebraska Omaha is coming.
Beginning the second period, 197 pounds in the National Dual Championships. You're looking at Mark Manning there, the coach, and now Craig Brester, 197-pounder from Nebraska. He's up against Chad Beatty for Iowa. We're at the National Dual Finals, where Iowa leads 21-3 through 184 pounds. It's 0-0 between Brester and Beatty. Only heavyweight follows. Iowa Hawkeyes looking very good in their attempt to win their first National Dual Championships in 12 years. Last time they won was against the Cornhuskers in 1996.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine all the success that the Hawkeye program has had, that they haven't won a national duel since 96.
And Minnesota and Oklahoma State, as you can imagine, have about 8 or 9 of those 12 championships.
Yeah, they didn't go too far off the reservation between those 3 schools.
Minnesota was going for their 3rd straight, but got sidelined by Nebraska in the semifinals.
Brester with his escape, starting the down position.
Out in front 1-0 now. sure Mark Manning thinking of the positive things he's going to say to his team. Disappointing to lose like this, but gosh, what a lot to take back in winning 3 straight meets against highly ranked teams.
Well, the easiest thing to correct is your conditioning. And you can work on that in the next 2.5 months, and more sprints, weightlifting workouts, work out harder. So that's correctable. Brester in on a shot, not able to finish it out. Beatty's competing here. But following through with that thought, I mean, what do you take away from this? Well, you take away, well, we competed pretty hard for 3 matches. We did better than what people thought we were going to do, and went up against a pretty tough team that's wrestling with a lot of heart and momentum.
The Hawkeyes are wrestling with a lot of heart and momentum, but Craig Brester makes sure that Nebraska is still heard from with 2 more points, makes the score 3-0 as he just gets the takedown at the edge of the mat on Chad Beatty here with 48 seconds left in second period.
Touch and go. Just touch and go coming across. Pretty easy there. Not much of a reaction there by Beatty. Now he comes up. He being Beatty comes up and tries a standing switch. And I thought Brester really was impressive in the top position when he wrestled up against the Minnesota wrestler. Minnesota wrestler was unranked, but barely got off his stomach most of the match. And
Brester in control.
Yeah, he is in control, but an important 22 seconds. You can make this match a lot easier on yourself if you're able to ride Beatty out. Beatty gets an escape, and seen this several times here in this building and over the years where you let them out of the box here a little bit, and they might get the crowd behind them and a little more momentum and come back into it. But it looks like Brester is doing a nice job of staying on top, covering the hips. Pretty much a parallel ride. The officials are letting guys do this a little bit more than kind of what we've seen in the past. Normally that'd be called stalling, 15 years ago.
And that's the end of the second period as we move into the third and final period. Iowa's Chad Beatty chooses down. He's behind 3-0. Iowa's up in front 21-3 in the team score. You're looking right at Craig Brester there, 4th ranked in the nation. Has not lost yet this year and doing a good job this weekend.
And what's Beatty have to do to get back into it? Escape in 18 seconds and get a takedown.
No riding time for Brester yet. He's got 42 seconds. He'd like to not let Beatty do what you just outlined, Jim, and if he can keep him on the mat, it might not happen. He's still got a toe in, still got a knee in, and this is not working in Beatty's favor.
Yeah, he's got to change it up. He's got to try to get his, there you go, try to cast him across. Get his wrist free, though. I mean, that's really an old school, the old head bar. That's probably one of the first moves you learned at Morning Sun, wasn't it? The head lever?
That's exactly right. When I was in grade school and junior high, Bob Dara was teaching us the head lever. The